Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we are going to be talking about more world building. What is this, like, I think the third world building episode. This week it was supposed to be focused on more of character and how I make my characters and all that sort of thing. And honestly, I got started on my characters and mainly like my main two characters that have the most impact on the story, and I like the way that I did that, but I haven't done it enough to make a video about it yet. Actually, what I did was this week I went in, I kept doing more world building. I am finding this process really fun. I always pushed it aside and never really I did care about the world building, and I had a world in mind when I was like building out everything for the story, but it has like consumed everything basically. But I do have deadlines set, so I'm not like too distracted. I actually went back and I did so much world building, in fact, that it affected my plot a lot. So I went back and I actually re-outlined the entire book from the first video that I was talking about, of how I broke down a few movies and I took their basically like skeleton of their sort of structure and I applied it to mine, and the book has really come together. The parts where it started falling off for me in my first draft, they work now. My progression system for the magic is working really well, and I'm super excited to be able to show that off. And with this combination of doing my world building, everything's more connected. The political system, the magic, the actual flora and fauna of the world, the plot, and everything that I'm trying to tell, they all work together to be able to tell this story that I want to tell. But it has been a process. It took me a year to write the first book, or the first draft of this book, and it's taken me like 2 months now to get the outlining right, the theming right, my characters, my environment, all that sort of stuff, the plot. And I'm really excited about this process. I wanted to start writing this book in February, mainly the beginning of February, but as you see this, it'll be February 1st when this comes out, and I haven't started writing it yet. So I'm a little bit behind schedule, but I gave myself, I think, like almost a month buffer. So I'm starting to already eat that 1 week out of the 4 weeks that I have for my buffer, but I think it's good and it's needed. I'd rather do a lot of upfront work here and get my outlining and everything that I want done right before I actually really go into this story. So I would like to say a fair warning to people who are getting into their fantasy and all of that is, do not get stuck in your world building. Mainly if you just want to start to tell your story and get it out there. One of the things that has helped me with this process is I set deadlines, make sure that I get my stuff done on a certain time. Lots of the times I do miss my deadlines, but I make plans after that to be able to recorrect my course, and I'm able to like actually get on there and get back to where I want it to be. You want to make sure that your world building is serving your story, and that can become a huge web of different things that are happening in your story itself. But just don't get too caught up in that. I'm a little caught up in it. It's my third week on world building, but I've taken this chance to, with this third week, it's not just world building. I re-outlined my plot, like I said, and everything works together a lot more now. I dabbled a little bit in my characters last week, and this week is more going to be my brainstorming sort of week, where I make sure that everything in my plot is working together the way that I want to, and sort of finalize that. My first outline, basically how I did that, which I did a few days ago, I just like wrote out all the scenes that I wanted and drew inspiration from the sort of plots that I had, the movies that I watched from earlier, and my world building and how I want everything to progress. And I know there's still parts in this outline that aren't necessarily still working, but I'm going to be doing my best to be able to take this week right here to nip as much as those in the bud, and really just get started writing, and not using the excuse of like having to do pre-production for my book to not actually write my book. And that's the biggest thing I think a lot of people really get caught in, and especially me, I get caught in, is all this pre-production stuff is really fun, making your characters, your plot, your world building, but writing the book is gonna be what matters the most. Even if it's screwed up, you can go back and you can fix those things. But you know, it all depends on what kind of writer that you are. Are you gonna be the outliner that prepares a lot more beforehand, or a pantser sort of writer, the gardener, where they figure it out along the way? A lot of us are in between. I'm in between, and I'm trying to figure that out as a beginning writer of how this process works best for me. And I found a good medium. I outline all the very generic things that need to happen, but I sort of like am a gardener when it comes to actually crafting the scene and how it plays out. I also have formal training, I guess that's the right word, in college, where it's like you need to be looking for these sort of signs in your storytelling. I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of writing podcasts, and a lot of writing videos from authors themselves talking about what they do to make sure they keep a scene interesting. A lot of that's just become sort of second nature, so it's fun to just get in the process of writing. So don't get too distracted in this sort of phase. I'm getting super distracted. I'm sort of all over the place. I actually, like, this series is planned to be around like 15 books, and I decided I will go ahead and make the outline for the entire 15 books and what each book serves its purpose for. And it was crazy. I literally hunkered down in my room for like the entire weekend and did not come out, and just had some chai tea, put on some lo-fi, and just went through this whole world and everything that I want to accomplish in it, every message that I want to tell. And I sat back and was like, yeah, this is kind of what I want to accomplish as a writer. And it really helped. That process helped me to figure out what I'm going to do in this book. What kind of tone am I going to be setting in this book? Making sure that the magic is right, because this is a magic that I want to use for my entire series. So making sure that everything's working together for that theme and end goal that I'm trying to get and tell through this series. I know that's a lot. That was a little off the sort of road, but I've been really focused on this book, especially these past few weeks. And it's hard to come up with like video ideas and things that I'm going to do. But I'm going to push through it, and I'm excited to bring this content and stuff to you guys. Hopefully this was helpful for anybody, or just interesting to see my update on what's going on. I will be doing the rest of my characters after I do my outlining and the rest of my world building, because I want to be able to have these character sheets whenever they show up in scenes and stuff like that. So I will be making that video next week, and the week after that, well, I'll be making that video next week, but I'll be starting to write the book that week, hopefully. And then the week after that, I will probably just be talking about how my writing's going and how all this pre-production has sort of helped to be able to get my writing to where it is, what I'm learning, what I think I could get rid of, all of that. Thanks so much for being a part of this journey, guys. I'm excited to do this with you. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And just comment below what else you would like to see. I'm probably going to be doing another Wheel of Time video at the end of this week, and a book review for Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. And I've been loving that book. So I'm excited to bring that to you guys. Let me know what you'd like to see, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.